And criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Vinoo is on the phone with us. Vinoo, thanks a lot for joining us.
Good evening.
All right, this is a huge development here. Explain the significance of what was revealed in the memo.
Well, the truth is not that much, except the fact that Flynn has been extremely helpful. When I say not that much in terms of the details about what he cooperated about. But what's significant is the fact that he cooperated early and provided critical information leading to Special Counsel Mueller recommending that he basically get no jail.
Yeah, it specifically says a substantial amount of evidence, so that's a lot there.
Well, look, the term substantial assistance can be thrown about many different ways, and it's one of these things in federal sentencing guidelines. In federal sentencing lingo that can really lose significance, but not in this situation. Not when it's involving Special Counsel Mueller.
Yeah, I was about to say
the Trump team,
especially with the fact that they have recommended no jail time. So, I mean, the facts are here, at least as much as we can get out of this memo here.
Yeah, I mean, look, he provided information about statements made regarding that when he was part of the transition team and relating to sanctions that President Obama had put into effect, and then as well as a UN resolution on Israel, and also a statement regarding Turkey that he had provided false statements about. So there's a lot that he did. His long career in military, 33-year career, as Special Counsel Mueller noted, is going to weigh heavily against him getting any jail. But particularly when you look at the amount of information redacted, that speaks more than what is actually provided and unredacted.
And with that said, does that spell trouble for President Trump moving forward and others?
Oh, absolutely. I just think that it's just when all of this comes into play, you have Flynn, you have Manafort, you have Cohen. Everybody around President Trump has been convicted of a crime. So, all of this obviously is moving towards President Trump. It's just a matter of time. And what's important here to notice is that because he's made filings, Special Counsel Mueller, even if the so-called unthinkable happens or President Trump tries to fire him, this has now been filed in court. So Special Counsel Mueller has that protection. These documents can be unsealed and revealed.
And let's specifically talk about the court deadlines, if you possibly can. My colleague Paula Reed was in Washington a couple of minutes ago with me on TV, and she was talking about how there is something to do with the timing of this memo. Do you relate that to, is there some type of a correlation between now and court deadlines that were specifically in place? Or is this just something that's just coming out tonight?
No. These sentencing memorandums were due in Flynn's case today. So they basically, Special Counsel Mueller had until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time to file this memo, and it's done electronically. So, it was filed not too long ago, obviously, in the last hour or so. But it's
and that's just for people who have been following this case, wondering, okay, what's taking so long? And now all of a sudden there's this, what appears to be, I don't know if we can call it a minor bombshell or whatnot until we hear what happens moving forward, especially after tomorrow. But there are people who have been watching wanting to know, okay, well, why now? Are we getting closer to a wrap up of this investigation?
I think it's speculative at this point. It is certainly possible. There's indications that it could be, coming closer. But the reality is that the lay people don't. If you're not involved in law enforcement, if you're not involved in federal investigations, whether prosecuting them or defending them, these things take time. I mean, I've had federal cases take 6 years from the start when the federal agents showed up at my client's door to when they brought a case. Wow. I mean. By the time it was concluded, over 4 years from the time of from the initial investigation starting, when my client knew there was an investigation, the federal agents showed up at his door, to over 4 years later when they brought the actual indictment, and my client was arrested. So these things could take, and that's just in a criminal tax case, and I've had some cases take longer. So obviously, this is the most sensitive of sensitive things when you're dealing with potential obstruction by the president and whether, the members of his team, colluded with the Russian government
well, there's
to
a lot of
affect
people.
the election.
There's a lot of people who want to see this investigation come to an end on both sides of the aisle. Mainly President Trump. He's been very adamant and speaking out clearly about that as well. But this filing here is further evidence that this investigation is not wrapping up in the next few weeks. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. I mean, there's going to be more. I mean, in all these filings, there are indications of other people who have been cooperating in other investigations. When, as I said, just a couple minutes ago, when you're talking about what's redacted, there's more redacted than what's unredacted. So there's more hidden to the general public than what's been revealed. So that means ongoing investigations. That means these investigations are ongoing. They're continuing. They're not ending at the moment.
All right, we have some sound from Mike Pence, the vice president, when he was actually on a Face the Nation. He made some comments about Michael Flynn and this entire investigation. I want you to listen to it, and then we'll get your comments on the other end.
I talked to General Flynn about that conversation. It actually was initiated when, on Christmas Day, he had sent a text to the Russian ambassador to express not only Christmas wishes, but sympathy for the loss of life in the airplane crash that took place. It was strictly coincidental that they had a conversation. They did not discuss anything having to do with the United States' decision to expel diplomats or impose a censure against Russia.
All right, so there you have it, the vice president saying it was strictly coincidental. Vinoo, do you buy that, and what does that mean now? It was actually mentioned in the memo here.
Well, I mean, that was the reason given for his firing by President Trump, right? That he lied to Vice President Pence. So Vice President Pence went on air for convey what was conveyed to him by, Michael Flynn, and that was the purported reason for the firing. Mm-hmm. But, the original, if you look back at the statement of the offense, which was signed a year ago by Michael Flynn, and another statement of offense was filed today. Michael Flynn admitted, multiple lies, and the question of whether he actually lied to the vice president or not. I mean, that has nothing to do with the court filing, right? I mean, that lying to the vice president itself is not a criminal action. He's not a law enforcement official. For this purpose, really has no impact. Right? That was the political reason given to the public, the reasons for his firing.
All right, so Vinoo, in your opinion, who's not going to bed sleeping tonight?
I think, the individuals who've yet to be, the president, members of the president's family, Roger Stone. I mean, these are all individuals that are, as more of this comes out, particularly with, a lot of this stuff came out last week with Michael Cohen, and more information is going to be potentially revealed this week with Manafort's sentencing memorandum. So there's a week filled with potential bombshells. But, one of the things that I caution against is there's the fact that there's so much redacted, and for lay people that means blocked out, not white. In this case, it's black ink that you see on a court document. For lay people to understand is the reason that that's blocked out is because the investigations are ongoing. So, none of this is good for the president. It just means, think about it, right? His campaign manager, his personal lawyer, his national security advisor, all convicted criminals. So, I imagine he doesn't sleep well, and that's why you get the tweets at 4 a.m. And the constant calls for this witch hunt to be disbanded. Well, the witches have been hunted, and they're being, they have been roasted. So it's just a matter of time before it gets closer to him, and I think it's headed that way.
I'm sure you and I will be speaking for a couple more times before this is all over with. Vinoo Varghese, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
And thank you.